Donald Trump brutally criticized Tom Hanks and explained why he has a big conflict with him. According to Trump, Hollywood actors, including people like Tom Hanks, are destroying America with their anti-American behavior, and there are behind-the-scenes processes that are unknown publicly, and within top celebrities, things are getting out of control. So, let's explain everything. A few days ago, Trump expressed his confusion on X and tweeted that he was very surprised by Tom Hanks' manipulation of facts. Trump criticized Tom Hanks after Hanks compared Trump to dictators like Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin. Trump responded to a clip from CNN saying that his policies are nothing like those of the dictators and calling Tom Hanks' comments nonsensical. According to Trump, celebrities like Tom Hanks comparing him to the most evil leaders from the past who controlled people and committed terrible deeds is an immoral thing to do. Trump said Tom Hanks is a destructive, woke person without ethics. Hopefully, the Academy Awards and other fake award shows will review their standards and practices. Now, as you know, Hanks, during the interview with CNN, famously said about Trump, "I think there's always reason to be worried about the short term, but I look at the longer term of what happened. I think, look, our Constitution says we the people of the United States in order to form a more perfect union. I worry about Trump, but I'll always have faith that the United States of America and the Western societies that have adopted more or less the same sort of democracy." Hanks also added, "That journey to a more perfect union has missteps in it. I can catalog them as much as you can. Over the long term, however, we inevitably make progress towards, I think, that more perfect union." In response, Trump applauded at West Point after Hanks was suddenly dropped from the event honoring the actor. Trump tweeted on Truth Social, "Our great West Point, getting greater all the time, has smartly canceled the award ceremony for actor Tom Hanks. Important move. We don't need destructive, woke recipients getting our cherished American awards." Now, this conflict between Trump and Tom Hanks is not new. It started in April of 2016 on the London red carpet for A Hologram for the King. Tom Hanks mocked Trump's chances, joking that Trump would be president when spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs in red capes. He also pushed back on making America great again, saying America was already great. Those lines weren't just celebrity banter. They marked the opening round of a public split. Hanks positioned himself as a defender of the country's core strengths. Trump and his supporters saw a Hollywood star dismissing a movement. By October 2016, the split had hardened. After the Access Hollywood tape went public, Hanks said that he was offended as a man, rejecting the locker room talk defense and stressing that Trump made those comments at work. Days later at the Rome Film Festival, he called Trump a self-involved gas bag. Now you can hear the pattern forming. Hanks kept the moral framing front and center. Trump's side saw nonstop scolding from an industry that rarely scolds itself. The first year of the presidency did not soften any lines. In early 2017, as the White House clashed with the press, Hanks sent the reporters an espresso machine with a note that basically said, "Keep going, truth matters." It looked small, but symbolically, it was loud. Hanks tied himself to the idea that journalism is a public guardrail. Trump said the media were unfair, biased, and out to get him. Two visions of the country's truth systems colliding in real time. That same year, Hanks gave speeches urging people to trust the Constitution and write, argue, and stay engaged without destroying each other. He warned about destruction being antisocial and pushed calm debate over chaos. When asked about the Post, the newsroom drama he starred in, he said it's exactly the kind of film a president should watch to understand why restricting the press is dangerous. He even accused Trump of monkeying with the Constitution and feeding agenda-driven institutions. On the other side, Trump argued that institutions were already agenda-driven, just against him, and that a correction was overdue. By 2024, his tone had shifted. He still backed Democrats, but his message sounded more hopeful, even when asked directly about a second Trump term. He said the short term can be messy, but the long term bends toward the promise at the start of the Constitution, a more perfect union. He emphasized that progress has missteps, but the framework holds. That is Hank's worldview in one sentence. Institutions wobble, but stand. And today, in 2025, the conflict got even worse when the West Point Association of Graduates abruptly canceled a ceremony that would have honored Tom Hanks with the Sylvanus Thayer Award, a prize tied to the motto Duty, Honor, Country, with past recipients including presidents, astronauts, and generals. Trump didn't just notice, he celebrated the cancellation. On Truth Social, he called Hanks destructive and woke, posting, "Our great West Point, getting greater all the time, has smartly canceled the award ceremony for actor Tom Hanks. Important move. We don't need destructive, woke recipients getting our cherished American awards." There is another layer here that makes the cancellation even sharper. Trump has long said that Hollywood award systems are political. He has said for years that The Apprentice got screwed out of an Emmy, and he's blasted fake award shows for needing to review their standards. So when an honor for Hanks vanished, it fit Trump's long-running claim that awards are about ideology. In his framing, West Point finally stood up and said no to an industry that scorns people like him. Supporters of the decision echoed that mood. They pointed to Hanks' public criticism since 2016 and said this is accountability, not spite. They cited his COVID scolding and his dig-free commencement lines aimed at truth, reading them as constant jabs at Trump voters. They argued a military tradition shouldn't be used to validate a star who, in their view, undermined a commander-in-chief. You saw that sentiment across posts, talk shows, and analysis programs that praised the cancellation as overdue. Critics, on the other hand, called it pettiness with a uniform. They said West Point's alumni group dragged an apolitical honor into a culture war, and that a commander-in-chief cheering the removal of an award for a citizen artist is a bad look for the country. Some noted the irony. A movement that says it's against politicized awards also cheered a very political reversal. The point they made was simple. If duty, honor, country only applies to one party, it stops being a unifying creed. The pop culture skirmishes kept feeding the story. During SNL's 50th anniversary, a sketch where Tom Hanks played a MAGA supporter sparked backlash from right-wing commentators who said that the bit flattened real people into caricatures. Around the same time, Hanks and documentarian Ken Burns promoted a history series they said runs against attempts to whitewash America's past. Trump's base saw a pattern. Hollywood pushes one moral story and labels opponents as anti-truth. Hanks' base saw the opposite pattern, entertainers leaning into civic duty when institutions need a hand. It is worth asking why a single cancellation hit this hard, because it isn't about an espresso machine or a red carpet joke anymore. It is about the institutions people trust most. West Point is not a film academy. It is the symbol of national service. When an award there flips, people don't shrug. They take sides. And when a former president cheers the flip in capital letters, the argument leaves the comment section and lands in the country's memory. So what comes next? Well, there are two paths. One, more institutions follow West Point's alumni group and start choosing sides explicitly. Honors, boards, and ceremonies get filtered through the woke or not lens. Or two, backlash to the backlash builds, and people push to keep some spaces neutral again, arguing that service and art should not be used as culture war trophies. Either way, the Trump-Hanks decade is now part of the country's reference file. The quotes, the jokes, the speeches, all of it led to a canceled honor with a blast radius far beyond one actor. And that's the story. 10 years of criticism, one canceled ceremony, and a clash over who gets to carry duty, honor, country.